Hello, my name is Andrea Quesada, and today I'm going to talk about another strategy called students' questionings for purposeful learning. So this strategy is meant to be before the reading or the unit, and you focus on comprehension and vocabulary. So one of our main goals as a teacher is to develop a student's abilities to read, listen, and learn with a purpose. So this strategy is associated with a higher level of engagement and achievement and leads to a focused, sustained attention to the reading or the unit, and is designed to gain a hold of students' interest in the material by having them ask and ponder and wonder about and answering their own questions about the topic that we're going to read about, we're going to study about. So students, because of this, students become much more motivated to pay more attention to what they're reading and to look for the answers for their own questions. So I like how the book said that instead of being interrogated, as we can consider usual, they become the interrogators, exploring information and ideas with a purpose that they're interested about. So because of that, it creates more motivation for them to look for the answers. So step by step, so step number one is to think about a statement. You as a teacher, think about a statement about the material that you will present to the students. And you have to keep in mind that this statement has to bring curiosity from the students and with wondering, challenging questions. And it is to, as I said, provokes interest and curiosity. So these are the 3 examples that were in the book. So for English class, the topic was like courtroom chapters in Kill a Mockingbird, and the SQPL, which is short for student questioning and purpose learning, is Atticus is wasting his time defeating Tom. And for math class, which the topic is measuring 3-dimensional objects, the statement which it was with a ruler, I can tell a total distance around the Earth. And then finally, history. The topic was communism in the post-World War II in Europe, and the statement was people are happiest when the government takes care of all their needs and everyone is equal. So this is step 1, when the teacher thinks about a statement and then he or she just presented it to the class. And as you can tell, they're really like opening, like they really make you wonder a lot of things. So step number 2 is present the statement to the student. Number 3 is how the students pair up, or maybe in groups too. And based on the statement, generate 2 or 3 questions they would like to answer. And then step number 4 is when all the students pair have thought of their questions, as someone from each team share the questions with the whole class. And then step number 5, there's a lot of steps. Step number 5 is as students answer questions out loud, write them on the board. And eventually, a lot of similar questions will come up, which I think is amazing. And as a teacher, we need to pay close attention to those questions that repeats a lot. Step number 6, after you share all the questions, we should look over all the questions. We should write all the questions that the students made. But we should, if it's necessary, we can add our own questions to make sure we are reaching all the topics and all the things that we as teachers want them to learn. So number 7 is when students are ready to look for the answers for the questions in the reading unit. So our responsibility as teachers is to tell them to read, listen, to pay attention for information that can help them answer the questions that we discussed before as a class, or that they discussed as a pair. The number 8 is we need to stop periodically in the reading, and we can make little discussions, or we can say, has any of this information helping you to answer any questions? And that will help all the class to kind of go together in the same pace and to have a better close reading. And final number 1 is students might be required to record the questions from the board, meaning if you write down the questions that we discuss as a class, we're gonna focus on, and answers find in their notebooks for later study. So make sure they record the answer and maybe even point out where the answer was in the text. So if we go into a classroom setting, we're talking about weather. And this is my statement: summer is fun, peaceful, and the best time of the year. So what I will have to do is, as a Spanish class, and I have a really short-ish text about the weather. And I will present this to the students, this statement. And then after that, I will pair them, and I will make sure that each pair has 2 to 3 questions based on this statement. And then these are some of the examples that they might come up with, questions that might come up with, like, what do you do in summer? Is in the winter and the snow fun too? Like, what helps you feel peace? Is hot weather better than cold weather? How the weather is in summer? What will we do without summer? So this is a textbook. If you know Spanish, feel free. But here is in English. So I will go over it. I will make them, because it's relatively short, I will make them read it, and then we will read it all together and go with like pausing each, maybe every 2 sentences and discuss about the text and what you're learning, and especially if it's in Spanish. I will make sure also they know the vocabulary beforehand. That way they're not unfamiliar with it. But what I have highlighted here are some of the answers that we can find for the questions that we mentioned before. So the textbook says, today was very cool. It's winter and all the streets are covered with snow. Soon spring will come, and with the sun and warm weather. Last week was rainy and stormy. Even lightning struck the cathedral, but nothing happened. I always have been scared of thunders, so that doesn't give you peace, right? But we're lucky because the weather forecast for tomorrow is very good. So what is considered good weather? That's some of the questions that we can read out to for a discussion. They say that today there will be the frost and hail in the afternoon, but tomorrow the day will be sunny. Let's see if I'm lucky and see a rainbow. I have friends who are in Brazil right now. Their weather is very different. It's hot and they can play all day long. The atmosphere is hotter because it's summer, although they say that yesterday it was very windy. However, everything here is covered in clouds. Even yesterday, the fog was covering the houses. Nothing was visible. We also have to be careful with ice. Few people like rain, but it's necessary to leave. But soon the sun will come and the bad weather will go away. So there you go. That would be my example. That would be my strategy. Hope you enjoy.